I hadn't seen my family in 11 years. I flew home for my grandpa's funeral, hoping for a quiet goodbye. But the first thing I felt wasn't grief, it was a punch. My mom's new husband greeted me with his fist and a cold smile, saying, "This isn't your house anymore." He had no idea that I still had the original deed, and a lawyer who loved taking people like him down. If you've ever been disrespected, dismissed, or told you had no right to fight back, hit that subscribe button now, like this video, and stay until the end to witness how justice isn't just served, it's delivered perfectly. Let's dive in. I hadn't been home for over a decade. 11 years. A lot can change in that time. People move on. New relationships form. Homes get remodeled. Or so I thought. When I stepped off the plane, the city looked smaller than I remembered, but familiar enough to trigger a wave of nostalgia. Grandpa had always loved this old neighborhood. The way the sunlight hit the porch in the late afternoons, the smell of fresh bread from Mrs. Patel's bakery down the street. I hadn't just lost him, I'd lost that sense of belonging. And now, I was walking into a house that wasn't really mine anymore, or so I was told. The taxi pulled up in front of the house. My heart beat a little faster as I stepped onto the driveway, my suitcase dragging behind me. The door opened, and for a split second, I thought I'd just imagined him. My mom, older, with the same eyes, the same warm smile I remembered. But behind her, looming larger and meaner than I could have expected, was her new husband. I froze for a moment, unsure if I should step forward. And then it happened. The fist came first. A sharp, aggressive push. Not a punch exactly, but enough to make me stagger back. "This isn't your house anymore," he said, his voice dripping with a mix of contempt and self-satisfaction. I felt my stomach drop, my mind racing. 11 years away. A funeral. And this man, this stranger, had the audacity to try to intimidate me in my grandfather's home. "Excuse me," I managed, my voice tight but calm, though my hands were trembling. He smirked. "You heard me. This is my house now. Your mother and I have worked hard to make this our home. You're not welcome." I wanted to yell. I wanted to shove him back. I wanted to run out and never return. But something in me, call it instinct, call it pride, kept me rooted, because I knew the truth. See, Grandpa had loved me fiercely, even when life got messy. And when he passed, I had been entrusted with something that no one, not even my mom's new husband, knew about. Original deed papers, safely tucked away in my lawyer's office. The legal rights to this house, my family home, and a very capable lawyer who loved a challenge. I stepped inside, pretending to be defeated. I looked around, taking in the living room, the furniture that wasn't mine, the pictures on the walls, his additions, his touches. Every corner was a reminder that someone thought they could erase me from this space. But I had a plan. I spent the first few hours pretending to grieve quietly, listening to my mom talk about funeral arrangements. I watched him, carefully noting every overconfident smirk, every dismissive glance, every little way he tried to assert dominance. He was arrogant, brash, and so sure that I had no leverage. And I let him. I let him feel untouchable. That evening, after everyone had left, I called my lawyer. She was quick and precise, like a hawk circling prey. I explained the situation. By midnight, she had everything ready. Official documents proving that the house was still legally mine. Notice letters, and the legal groundwork to reclaim possession immediately. The next morning, I woke early. I brewed coffee, sat on the porch, and watched as he stepped out for his morning routine. Lawn, newspaper, the casual self-importance of a man who thought he'd won. Then, I made my move. I walked inside, my heart calm but my mind sharp. My mom was startled when she saw me, confused by the strange, almost cold confidence I carried. "Where are the papers for the house?" I asked casually, letting the weight of the question hang in the air. He laughed. "Papers? What papers? This is my house now. You're too late." I didn't flinch. I smiled, calm and unshakable. "Funny you say that." I pulled out my phone and called my lawyer. "File the transfer now," I said, watching his face go pale as I handed the phone to him. She explained everything. The deed, the legal rights, the fact that every improvement he had made didn't matter one bit. I watched him crumble as the realization hit him. This house wasn't his. He never had a right to it. The documents were solid. My claim was ironclad. You can't do this," he stammered, panic creeping into his voice. "Oh, I can," I said softly, "and I already have." By the time the lawyer finished, he had no choice. Eviction notice, legal mandate, all the furniture, all the belongings, all his bravado gone. The house, my grandfather's home, was mine again. He tried to argue, to negotiate, to plead. I listened politely, nodding like I was considering mercy. But I wasn't. Justice doesn't always require cruelty. It just requires correctness. I looked at my mom, expecting some relief, maybe a word of support. She was silent, conflicted, but I didn't need her validation anymore. The house was back. The legacy of my family was safe. And he, the man who had tried to erase me, had been shown exactly why arrogance and disrespect never win against truth. For the first time in years, I breathed freely. I walked through the halls that once felt like mine, and now truly were. Grandpa's photos, his old clock, the little trinkets he left behind, they all seemed to glow with approval. I had returned, not just for a funeral, but to reclaim what was rightfully mine. And the best part? He couldn't say a word. His fists, his threats, they meant nothing. Truth and preparation had won. The look on his face that morning is something I'll never forget. Panic, disbelief, a flicker of fear, all because he thought he could take something that wasn't his. And I stood calm, collected, a quiet smile on my face. I didn't raise a hand. I didn't yell. The law, the truth, and my planning did all the talking. I felt a release I hadn't known I needed. Years of absence, years of imagined grudges, years of feeling powerless, they all washed away. Justice had been served, elegant and complete. Some people think revenge has to be dramatic or violent, but the most satisfying kind. It's the one that's precise, calculated, and rooted in truth. When you fight smart, injustice doesn't stand a chance. Have you ever been underestimated, dismissed, or told you had no right to fight back? Comment below with your story of justice or revenge, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Remember, truth always finds a way to win, and sometimes the sweetest victories are the quietest ones.